Hello, welcome, and thanks for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gomansing. As Senate approaches the August 7th voting on the Fourth Amendment to the Hovensa Agreement, Governor John de Jongh Jr. called a press conference to make his administration's position known. According to the governor, while he is looking at multiple sides of the argument, he cannot agree with some of them.
My position has been all along that there will be no long-term storage business on St. Croix that is not part of getting a refinery operating and keeping it operating. While I respect the opinion of those who believe that the future of St. Croix and of the territory is better without an operating refinery, is not an opinion that I share or that I can support. I am keenly aware of the environmental concerns that is the heart of many discussions as regards the refinery. These concerns are the same ones that led to the regulation of the refinery in the past and without question will be part of the regulation of any new operator going forward.
Criminal Investigation Bureau detectives have identified the victim in the August 3rd fatal shooting that occurred on Market Street between King and Company Streets in Christiansted as 38-year-old Ronald Colon, also known as Chacal. Colon is a native of the Dominican Republic. Police arrested 21-year-old Julian Vieira and charged him with first-degree murder. Police were dispatched to the shooting, which occurred about 6:20 a.m. The same day, August 3rd at 5:15 p.m., police located the suspect in Estate Strawberry. He was arrested. Bail was set at $1.5 million. The Saturday morning shooting also left a 59-year-old man and a 47-year-old man injured.
Vieira attended his advisor rights hearing on August 5th and was formally charged with first-degree murder, assault first, assault third, unlawful possession of ammunition, reckless endangerment first degree, failure to report a firearm brought into or obtained outside of the Virgin Islands, and possession of an unlicensed firearm during the commission of a crime of violence. At the time of the August 3rd murder, Vieira was awaiting trial for a criminal incident that occurred on December 31st, 2012. Vieira was arrested along with two other suspects in connection to a shooting that occurred in the rear of the festival village. During his court appearance on that 2012 charge, Vieira was ordered by the court not to violate any laws of the Virgin Islands and to remain on house arrest. The court did not assign him an electronic monitoring device.
Meanwhile, Criminal Investigation Bureau detectives arrested 24-year-old Elvis Davis on an arrest warrant, charging him with third-degree assault with a deadly weapon. The same day, an investigation into a recent robbery led detectives to Davis. He was arrested on both charges, and police say Davis may be responsible for a string of robberies in the Christiansted area and an assault that occurred at the Morena Bar in Christiansted on May 27th. Detectives were also investigating a robbery that occurred on August 4th. At 12:30 p.m. in Estate Montbijou. A 35-year-old man told police that he was on a public street when two males approached him asking if he would like to buy a machine. The victim said no, and one suspect brandished a handgun, demanded money from him. The victim gave him the money he had, and the two suspects ran to a vehicle parked nearby and drove away. Meanwhile, police say a second man has been arrested in connection to that recent robbery in Estate Montbijou. 24-year-old Kishan Peterson, also known as Tuna, was also involved in the August 4th robbery of a business owner. As we just mentioned, police arrested the first suspect, Elvis Davis. Peterson was also arrested at the same time as Davis. Peterson was charged with first-degree robbery. His bail was set at $75,000. Vitema Director Elton Lewis says he's working to address employee concerns that have gone unanswered for some time. Director Lewis provided an update to the Government House last week, targeting 3 issues that have been a source of controversy. News2's Erica Parsons has more.
Contract negotiations are set to take place this week for 911 operators. Officials from the Virgin Islands Territorial Emergency Management Agency, or Vitema, plan to sit down with representatives from the United Steelworkers Union and the Office of Collective Bargaining.
That is scheduled for August 7th and through the 9th, where we are going to sit down at the table to try to iron out a contract that will perhaps take care of a number of these issues that has been long-standing.
The emergency operators have been working without a contract since 2008. Recently, there has been a dispute between workers and management over back pay owed for night pay differential wages and whether 911 operators are eligible for the extra pay. The Office of Collective Bargaining says no.
Currently, I have received clarification from the Office of Collective Bargaining that the dispatchers, they are not entitled to night differential.
Differential pay is only paid to government employees who work a regular shift between 6 p.m. and 6 a.m., not government employees who work rotating shifts as the emergency operators do. The 911 operators had been getting night pay differential since 2008, though payments were suspended in 2010 while a determination was being made. Now they'll be paid the back wages.
There is no denying that there are monies owed to the 911 operators, and I'm certainly working through that issue. I've been a police officer for almost 28 years, and my life depended on those individuals. So I certainly have an affinity, I have an appreciation for what they do on a daily basis, and it's my job and my responsibility to make sure that what is owed to those dispatchers, that they are made whole.
Erica Parsons, News 2.
Director Lewis also said 6 911 operators received permanent squad leader appointments, and they will receive new titles and pay accordingly. The Bureau of Motor Vehicles may have something new to offer very soon. In today's Senate session, legislators passed 4-3 an amendment to a previous law, and the change would allow BMV to issue more than just your driver's license. But what is it about? News 2's April Knight has details.
The Bureau of Motor Vehicles will soon offer more than just driver's licenses. In today's hearing, the Senate voted up a bill that would allow BMV to issue non-driver's license ID cards.
It creates an opportunity for residents to have access to an identification other than just a driver's license.
Although the territory's BMV is just getting into non-driver's license identification cards, many U.S. states have already issued such ID cards to qualified residents.
We were just kind of far behind in the process. And so now that they are complying with the Homeland Security regulations and the Real ID law, we are going to be able to issue a government-issued identification.
The BMV-issued ID cards have some solid advantages. For one, VI residents who are non-drivers can apply for the card.
There are a lot of people who do not drive and who are not able to prove who they are and their identity because they don't have an identification.
They can also apply for minors who are not old enough to get a driver's license. And in situations where a valid ID card is needed, the new government-issued ID card is as valid as it gets.
You simply cannot walk into a photo shop and get a photo done and get an identification that is valid or accepted at a government agency, for example. It's a government-issued identification. You can use it as an identification when you travel.
And with immigration still being a hot topic, lawmakers quickly squashed fears that VI residents might all be required to apply for the identification card.
It's not a requirement, no, it's optional. And it's for individuals who don't have a driver's license.
April Knight, News 2.
According to Senator O'Reilly, who sponsored the bill, while legislation speeds things up, it may take a while for BMV to implement the new identification card system. Well, an update after a terror threat triggered a worldwide travel alert for U.S. citizens. It also had the State Department shutting down some U.S. embassies over the weekend. Here is the very latest.
Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Martin Dempsey, calls the threat serious. He arrived Monday at the State Department.
Having lunch with the Secretary of State.
Part of their discussion, security at U.S. embassies in the Muslim world. 19 embassies and consulates across the Middle East and Africa remain closed through Saturday. Security around those sites has been beefed up as U.S. intelligence works to uncover more details about a potential al-Qaeda plot.
We believe that this threat is significant, and we are taking it seriously for that reason.
There are no specifics on where or when, but sources say intelligence agents recently intercepted the communications of senior al-Qaeda leaders, suggesting a plot to attack Western targets is underway, and terrorists are ready to carry it out. The State Department says the posts overseas have been closed out of an abundance of caution, with the goal of getting them back open.
We have to balance the mission need versus the security situation on the ground, and we'll continue making those decisions going forward.
A travel alert is in effect for U.S. citizens traveling abroad. Counterterrorism expert Tom Sanderson says all symbols of Western culture could be targets.
Staying away from those institutions and from businesses that are representative of America at this point, given the warning and given the response to close our embassies, I think is a very smart thing to do.
France, Holland, Germany, and the UK also have embassy closures in the region. Marley Hall for CBS News, the State Department.
And keeping our eye on the economy, JetBlue Airways plans to add premium seating for passengers looking for a little something extra. JetBlue says the new, larger seats will be located in the front of the plane and will convert into a single bed. Some seats will be walled off from the aisle with a sliding door in what JetBlue calls its suites. This, of course, is a bold move from an airline that made its name as a discount carrier. This is the New York Stock Exchange with Scotiabank's Stock Market Watch. The Dow, Nasdaq, S&P, Dow and S&P down. The Dow 46, Nasdaq up 3, S&P down 2. Coming up on News 2, St. Croix's new voting machines were delivered to elections Monday, but the machines had been stored off site since May. Plus, the Elena Christian Junior High School's Rocketry Club got a big boost that will help take them off for this year's Rocketry Challenge in May. Details coming up. St. Croix's new voting machines were delivered to elections on Monday. The machines had been stored off-site since May when they came in. Board officials said the old machines were moved from the elections office over the weekend to make space, but they're still under the agency's custody. Meanwhile, officials were present to receive the new machines that will be tested Wednesday.
We're receiving 21E SNS DS200 digital ballot readers. We're also receiving 21 DS200 ballot box assemblies. We're also receiving 21 DS200 ballot box tote bins, 21 AutoMark ballot printers, and also 200 privacy voting booths.
So what we're going to do on Wednesday, Miss Alexia from the ES&S company will be here in the Virgins, particularly end of St. Croix, because I can only speak for St. Croix, to test and open these machines, make sure they're working, and meet other individuals from the Board of Election.
August Festival 2013 is being celebrated in the British Virgin Islands. Today was the August Monday Parade and the opening of the East End Long Look Julie Penn Festival. Wednesday is the East End Long Look Children's Parade. Thursday, it's the fishing tournament. Friday is the Carrot Bay Cultural Day. The British Virgin Islands and many other islands in the former British West Indies celebrate their emancipation. On August 1st, 1834, the Emancipation Proclamation was read, proclaiming 5,133 enslaved Africans free. The Ira Oliver Skelton Festival's team is looking back at 175 years of being fully free, our culture, our heritage, and Virgin Islands history. That opened on Friday, July 26, with non-stop festivities that continue into Saturday, August 10th. The Department of Health will be holding special enrollment hours for the MAP expansion that we previously announced. An estimated 3,000 children and 200 pregnant women previously uncovered by the Medical Assistance Program. The Virgin Islands Department of Health opened on Saturday for these special enrollment hours. Special enrollment hours will be held every Saturday during the month of August. Notices have been mailed to those who qualify. The department based their figures on the number of people who qualify for the SNAP program. You can call the Department of Health for more information. The Elena Christian Junior High School's Rocketry Club got a lift for this year's Rocketry Challenge in May. Innovative officials presented the school with a check for $2,500 towards the Virginia trip for the Team America Rocketry Challenge. The Rocketry Club coordinator, Steve Bullock, said the money will go towards preparation for that challenge.
We thought it was a worthwhile program for a number of reasons. Obviously, we support not just the youth, but any type of educational initiative that will encourage science, technology, math. We are a telecom provider, and we had a number of good conversations, and we were able to support them to the tune of $2,500 for this year. We'll continue to work with them and see where we go from there.
I learned that even though that St. Croix is not on the map like most places, we could still go out and it still show that we could do the same amount of things that the mainland could do.
Congratulations to the young ones. Stick around. Your News 2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.